Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Danny's Detours, where we talk about anything and everything life related. Consciousness is our canvas. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm out and about again. You already know the gruesome twosome, Bonnie and Clyde, Paddy and Willow. Yeah, thank you so much to everyone joining me back on another walk and talk with me, Danny Detours. And yeah, it's a little bit on the overcast side today, guys. It's a little bit on the grey side, but I'm not complaining. It's just literally just as I said that, it's just started to spit. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about letting go of that old self. Letting go of that old self, or that version of you, you know. So yeah, we'll just we'll go over here, and I tell you what as well, guys, I don't know if any of you's noticed, but put it down in the comments. I got woke up in the middle of, well, I say I got woke up, I just woke up in the middle of the night. It was about 2 o'clock well, 2 o'clock last night, and I was wide awake, and I couldn't get back to sleep till about 4:45, hence why I'm a bit on the tired side. But it was strange. But I do know there's a lot of changes going on with the planets, universe, whatever you want to call it. So I think people's bodies are recalibrating, getting ready for the big changes coming in. But yeah, just learning to let go of your old self, because in order for us to do this, guys, it is necessary for us to let go when you think about it. Because in order for us to become the greater, better version of ourselves, we have to let go. And sometimes that can be hard, you know, because if I look back to my past, you know, and the old version of myself, you know, would I have started doing these videos and sitting down and talking and going on this journey? Where this journey will take me, I do not know. But I suppose that's the beauty of life when you think about it, guys. That's the beauty of, like, just learning to walk into the unknown and not being scared as well. Because, you know, how many times do we come up with an idea or say, oh, we're going to do that? But then your mind becomes your worst enemy, doesn't it? And it starts tricking you, starts making you think, oh, well, you know, will I be good enough, or this or that? And it's like, that is like the tipping point. And this is why I'm talking about this today, about, you know, letting go of that old version of yourself. Because that old version of yourself, it was merely something that you adopted over the years. It was merely something that you learned. It wasn't something that you introduced or something that you embodied. It was something that you learned, whether that be through insecurities, through family, through school, through friends, you know, people saying we're not good enough, we can't do this, or, oh, I don't know if that's a good idea. Because I always go back to this and say, this, guys, you know, it's merely just a projection of their fears or uncertainty and doubt of what they think or believe is, you know, what, you know, what that would make them feel. But yeah, it's just a case of just, you know, learning to letting go of that old version. Because the way you've got to look at it as well, sorry, I'm just taking my shoes off. I'm just doing a bit of the old grounding. Oh, and it's raining. People will be coming up to me and thinking, what is that nutcase doing? He's sat there with no shoes and socks on in the rain. But listen, you know, if this allows me to become a greater, better version of myself, I know this is good for my body, guys, you know, I know this is good for my energy, my frequency, whatever you want to call it. Hence why I do this practice every day. It's a good routine, because once I am in these routines, I am creating a new version of myself, which I've been doing for the last God knows how many months now. Because I had to kill that old version of myself, you know, that old version of myself that always thought he wasn't good enough, you know, whether that be through past trauma, or, you know, like letting go of that version who used to make himself feel better about himself with the gambling, you know, because I was like pulled down a long time with gambling. You know, it was literally a crux in my side for a long time. And you know, even from like the age of like when Max was born up until I'll probably say like a couple of years ago when I fully stopped, you know, it was a bane on my life, that. But I was doing it because I didn't love myself, you know, I didn't believe in myself, and I wanted to feel something because I didn't feel anything for myself, if that makes sense. Like I was sort of like looking for, that's why I turned to drugs as well, guys, like cocaine and stuff like that, because I was always looking for something outside of me, when all along I always had it inside of me. Everything that I was looking for externally already existed within me, if that makes sense. Willow, who are you barking at? Be quiet. She does this all the time. Whenever she sees another dog, she's not aggressive or anything like that. She gets scared. She's very fearful, so it's her little way. She's a good little like an alarm, if you would. But anyway, yeah, but I forgot what I was saying now. But yeah, it's literally, you know, you've got to be willing. You know, it's a bit like this as well, guys. In order for you to change, you know, you have to become that version of you've got to look at it like this and think to yourself, right, well, I want this, or I want that, or I want to be wealthy, or I want to, you know, I want to be more confident, I want to be successful. It's that, well, you've got to say to yourself, think, right, well, what would that version of myself look like, and what would he practice, and what would he do? You know, and hence why I don't drink anymore, guys. I've gone totally teetotal, because it's low vibrational. Because when you drink alcohol, and I've mentioned this on some of my other previous videos, it allows you, well, it makes you vibrate on a low frequency, because that's why they call it spirits, guys. Because when you are drinking that, you are letting a spirit, bad spirit as well, into your body, and you will get temporary pleasure, like you do with drugs, like with cocaine and stuff like that, or any other drugs. For that small amount of pleasure, or temporary pleasure that you get, you know, it's the downside to what comes to it afterwards, with, like, you know, the chemistry in your body and the neurochemical like makeup in your brain of what it makes you become, and then you get depressed, and it's like a vicious cycle, guys. But I think a lot of the times we get addicted to feeling that way, because once we start doing these things on a regular basis, whether it be taking drugs, drinking, or whatever, you know, whatever these cruxes in your side may be, we get addicted to that feeling of feeling down and depressed, because it becomes normal, you know, it becomes normal to us. So it's just, you know, it's very interesting to think. So, like, I had to make a decision, and I just said to myself, it wasn't even so much about me making a decision, it was more of a feeling or a pull towards me. Hence why I was going out into nature, why I was going into solitude, why I was removing myself away from people. Because at the end of the day, guys, I had to be on my own and listen to myself, and, you know, so it's just a few things. It's like, in order for you to become a better, greater version of yourself, or a new self, you've got to be willing to kill that old self. You've got to be willing to accept that trauma and move on to the next level, and say to yourself in your mind, right, okay, then, well, what does that person look like? What would he be doing? What would his routine be? What food would he be eating? You know, who would he be associating with? Are you surrounded by positive people, or are you surrounded by toxic people? Because that has a massive part to play in who you become. Because if you're, it's a bit like, you know, if you show, the old saying goes, if you show me your friends, and I will show you your future. And that just rings so true. Willow, come here. That rings so true when you think about it, guys. Because you become the person you become, or you can become, is for the three most people that you can count on your hand, who you spend the most amount of time with. So hence why I removed myself away, and just, I had to go inwards and realise what I wanted out of life and where I wanted to go and what I wanted to achieve. But not in so much that, but listening to my soul as well. And what did my soul want? Am I in alignment with my true values of what I believe in? You know? So in order for us to become a greater version of ourselves, we must be willing to let go of the past. But yeah, Willow, come here. What's this? Come here. Noisy. Look at her. You're noisy. These two noisies. Right, I'm going to put my sockies on now and then we'll carry on with walk. But don't, Willow, come here. Don't be going under that bush because I'm... Oh, I forgot to tell you as well, guys, didn't I? And I think it was in this area as well. She ended up going in... I don't know if it was this bush or it was somewhere within this area. She ended up rolling in a load of fox poo. She rolled in a load of fox poo, and honestly, I've never smelled anything like it in all my life. It smelled like rotten dead bodies it smelled like. But yeah, but anyway, thank you so much for the love and support. I think we're going to leave it at there. But for me, Paddy and Willow, and don't forget to give me a follow on all my socials. They are down below in the description. But for me, Paddy and Willow, have a fantastic day. Love you loads. Peace.